Conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Opening. Imagine hearing a crazy story about the government controlling people's minds and finding out it was true. Or that the CIA used cats as spies, or that a company knew its product was killing people and kept selling it anyway. Sounds like a movie, right? But everything you're about to hear actually happened. These are conspiracy theories that stopped being theories. Block 1. MK Ultra. Mind control. If you watch Stranger Things, you remember those experiments on children? Yeah, that was based on something real. The program was called MK Ultra, and it was created by the CIA itself in 1953. The context was the Cold War. The United States was terrified of the Soviets. The reasoning was simple and chilling. If they're developing brainwashing techniques, we need to get there first. The goal was to control minds, erase memories, break down any psychological resistance. To do that, the CIA funded over 150 sub-projects involving drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock, and psychological torture. The darkest detail? Most of the test subjects had no idea they were being used as guinea pigs. They were ordinary civilians, prisoners, psychiatric patients, college students who were given LSD without any consent. Some were taken to secret rooms, watched through one-way mirrors while they suffered the effects of the drugs. For years, all denied. Just a conspiracy theory. In 1973, as pressure grew, the CIA director ordered the destruction of nearly all the files. Nearly all. A few boxes survived by accident, and in 1975, a congressional investigation finally exposed the program. But the truth was worse than any theory. It wasn't an isolated experiment. It was a massive program, funded by the US government, and to this day, no one knows exactly how far it went, or whether it ever truly ended. Block 2. Acoustic Kitty. The spy cat. Still during the Cold War, the CIA launched a project that, if someone told you about it, you'd call pure fiction. They wanted to turn cats into secret agents. Not a joke. The project was called Acoustic Kitty. The logic was almost reasonable. Nobody would suspect a cat just wandering around. So surgeons implanted a microphone inside a cat's ear, a transmitter at the base of its skull, and an antenna running along its tail. It cost millions of dollars. On the first official mission, the cat was released near a park in Washington, D.C. The target: eavesdrop on two men sitting on a bench. The result: the cat crossed the street and was hit by a taxi. Some say it simply ignored its training and walked off. The project was shut down, but it didn't stop there. The CIA also tested pigeons fitted with miniature cameras and trained dolphins and sea lions for underwater surveillance operations. It sounded like a bad Madagascar spin-off until declassified documents proved every bit of it was real. Block 3. The heart attack gun. This one might be the most cinematic of them all. A weapon capable of killing someone without leaving any trace. Battery-powered. It fired a tiny dart, nearly invisible. The dart carried a toxin that triggered cardiac arrest. The death would look completely natural. The dart dissolved quickly, impossible to detect in an autopsy. It was murder disguised as a heart attack, and it was confirmed by the CIA itself, live in front of the US Senate in 1975. The agency's director, William Colby, presented the weapon on camera. The whole world saw it, and you know what they said after that? We never actually used it. They built one of the most terrifying weapons in history, and swear they never fired it. Do you believe that? Block 4. Operation Mockingbird. The controlled press. For decades, a rumor circulated. The US government was secretly behind the news, controlling what got published, shaping public opinion. Conspiracy theory, of course, until it wasn't. The operation was called Mockingbird. It started in the late 1940s. The goal was to counter Soviet propaganda and shape the public narrative, both inside and outside the United States. In practice, recruit journalists, fund publications, plant stories, and use foreign correspondents as intelligence sources. In the 1970s, journalist Carl Bernstein, the same one from Watergate, published a bombshell investigation. Over 400 American journalists had maintained secret relationships with the CIA over decades. Of course, that doesn't mean every single story was controlled, but an operation to influence the media. That was very real, and the question that lingers is unavoidable. Does something like that still exist today? Block 5. COINTELPRO. The FBI versus its own citizens, while the CIA was manipulating the press. The FBI was waging a silent war against its own citizens. The program was called COINTELPRO. It started in 1956, targeting the Communist Party. But it kept growing. Soon, it included civil rights activists, student movements, feminists, anti-war groups, and the Black Panthers. The mission wasn't just surveillance. It was destruction. Undercover agents spread rumors, created internal divisions, sent forged letters to discredit leaders. One of the most well-known targets was Martin Luther King Jr. He received anonymous letters suggesting he take his own life, before details of his personal life were made public. The truth came out in 1971. Activists broke into an FBI office in Pennsylvania and stole classified files. The material was sent to the press. Congress investigated and exposed everything. A federal agency wasn't just spying, it was actively sabotaging democratic movements and conspiring it against political leaders. What was once dismissed as a conspiracy theory became a matter of historical record. Block 6. Apple and the planned slowdown, moving from governments to big corporations. For years, Apple users complained about the same thing. Right after a new iPhone launched, the old model got inexplicably slow. The accusation had a name: planned obsolescence. The idea was that Apple deliberately slowed down older devices to push people into buying new ones. Apple denied everything until 2017, when independent tests revealed a direct correlation between battery degradation and processor slowdown. The company released a statement confirming that, yes, it had been reducing the performance of older iPhones, the official excuse, preventing unexpected shutdowns. Consumers didn't buy it. Class action lawsuits were filed in multiple countries. In the United States, Apple settled for up to $500 million. The theory had become fact, and users kept asking the same question. If it was meant to help us, why hide it? Block 7. The Ford Pinto, the car that exploded. In the 1970s, a shocking accusation circulated about Ford, that the automaker knew its car could explode and sold it anyway. The model was the Ford Pinto. The problem was the fuel tank, placed in a vulnerable position at the rear of the car. In a rear-end collision, the tank could rupture, leak fuel, and turn the car into a fireball. This was known before the car ever went on sale. Engineers proposed simple fixes. Some would have cost just a few dollars per vehicle. But here's the most outrageous part. Internal documents revealed a cost-benefit analysis. The company calculated: how much would it cost to fix the defect? How much would it cost to pay out settlements to victims' families? And concluded it was cheaper to pay the settlements. In 1978, lawsuits forced a recall of 1.5 million vehicles. The theory said a company chose money over lives. The truth confirmed it did exactly that. Block 8. The sugar industry and bought science. For decades, fat was the villain. Margarine instead of butter, low-fat products, fat-free diets, and sugar, innocent, tasty, off the hook. What nobody knew was that this narrative had been purchased. In the 1960s, the sugar industry paid Harvard researchers to publish studies downplaying the risks of sugar and pointing to saturated fats as the main threat to cardiovascular health. The studies looked like neutral science, but there was industry money behind every page. The impact lasted for decades. Ultra-processed foods loaded with sugar flooded the market. An entire generation believed that a fat-free cookie was healthy. The truth only emerged in 2016, when researchers analyzed historical documents and published the evidence in scientific journals. The conspiracy theory said sugar had bought science. In part, it had done exactly that. Block 9. The tobacco industry. If the sugar cover-up was serious, tobacco was criminal. For decades, smoking was glamorous. Doctors appeared in cigarette ads, and the industry kept repeating, "There is no conclusive evidence that smoking causes serious illness." Behind that message was a carefully guarded secret. The companies knew. From the 1950s and 60s onward, executives were fully aware of the links between smoking, cancer, and heart disease. They also knew nicotine was chemically addictive. The strategy was deliberate. If they couldn't beat the science, they could at least delay it. They funded research specifically designed to cast doubt. In the 1990s, thousands of documents became public. Executives testified before Congress and swore under oath that they believed nicotine was not addictive. Their own internal files said the opposite. In 1998, a landmark settlement between U.S. states and the tobacco industry forced the release of millions of internal documents. The conspiracy theory said they knew and lied. The truth was even darker. They knew they lied, and they did everything they could to keep profiting. Block 10. Bohemian Grove. The club of the powerful, and finally. There is a private retreat deep in an isolated forest in California, where some of the most powerful men on the planet gather every year. Away from cameras, away from the press, away from the public, presidents, billionaires, executives, bankers, military leaders. The name is Bohemian Grove. For decades, it was treated as conspiracy folklore, a secret club where global decisions were made behind closed doors. But the place is real, founded in the 19th century. Officially, it's just a private summer retreat for elite networking. One of its most famous rituals is called the cremation of care, a ceremony where attendees symbolically burn their personal anxieties before a giant stone owl statue. To some, it's just a quirky, motivational ritual. To others, it looks like something straight out of a cult. In 2000, commentator Alex Jones infiltrated the grounds and released footage of the ceremony. The footage showed no sacrifices, no secret societies, nothing like the darkest rumors claimed, but it confirmed the event was real. The elite gathered for private rituals, completely shielded from the outside world. And the question nobody can answer remains the same. What is actually decided in there? Closing governments controlling minds, cats used as spies, untraceable assassination weapons, journalists recruited by intelligence agencies, corporations that chose profit over lives, industries that bought science itself. All of it was once called a conspiracy theory, until it wasn't anymore. So here's the question that stays with you. Of the theories we still call conspiracies today, how many are just a matter of time?